All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel, and we're just kind of following up with that DeFi watch. And I made a video 2 days ago, September 3rd. I made that video, and the video was entitled that there is basically a DeFi bubble forming. But there's a twister on the horizon. And, throughout that video, I sort of made my reasoning for that. One of the reasonings was that, we're sort of just swapping back and forth for these fictitious gains where there's nothing actually being produced at all. It's just for people's collateral and gains and interest rates, yada, yada. And another thing we've been seeing, too, is sort of a copy and paste swapping, from Uniswap and making SushiSwap and Hot Dog and all these stupid other platforms where, there's some real shady activity going on, and the whole thing really doesn't amount to anything. There's nothing really being productive at all with the DeFi. It's just sort of the new ICO. It's the new proof of work token, of 2017, or this, that, or the other thing. It's the new cool dApp to use. That type of thing. Now, I don't think, again, as I said in the last video, I don't think DeFi itself is a nefarious idea. I don't believe that it's necessarily only made as it's a Ponzi scheme it's in itself is completely nefarious. No matter which way you wrap it, no matter what kind of makeup you put on the pig, it's still a pig, right? But DeFi can be something really great, but I don't think it is right now. And I think it's way too easy to exploit the system, and that there was a bubble forming. And I said, it could be weeks, it could be months, down the line. But I think something catastrophically bad is going to happen in the crypto world. And I don't want to say that, I don't want to be too sensational here. I don't believe anything too, catastrophic has occurred. However, I think some of the bubble has bursted. Maybe we have that sort of piling of bubbles, and a few of them went pop, pop. And that was SushiSwap. SushiSwap founder reportedly exit scams as sushi token price tanks. And I first seen this here, basically somebody put on Reddit here, apparently SushiSwap just exit scammed, and they basically got a lot of Ethereum, something like 37,000 Ethereum or something, or 20,000, 17,000, something like that. And it was worth millions of dollars. And basically, it was SushiSwap tokens were basically sold, the developer's tokens. And now the developer is still around, and we'll get to that in a moment. He's actually saying things on Twitter, but they really don't make any sense. So let's sort of get into it. The anonymous founder of SushiSwap, so anonymous founder is pretty bad to begin with. Now, I get it's supposed to be a decentralized DeFi, but anonymous right away is just like, oh god, has reportedly, because Uniswap, for example, is not anonymous. It's made by a I think a Western backed company, and everybody knows who the guy is. But this one, it's just some person with what apparently is a panda named Chef Nomi on Twitter, who is just a panda from Hearthstone. I think it's a Hearthstone card. And he reportedly exit scammed after converting all of his sushi tokens to ETH on September 5th. So 2 days after I made that video. Fair enough. Reports of the alleged scam came a few after the sushi token, which forked from the Uniswap protocol, went up in value to $10 in just 24 hours. So it's a copy and paste from it's basically a copy and paste from Uniswap. It's different, but it basically... A Twitter user, Spencer Noon, first made the allegations. Anonymous co-founder of SushiSwap sells all of his sushi. Who could have possibly predicted this? Oh my, right? However, in a series of seemingly convoluted tweets, Chef Nomi, the self-professed creator of SushiSwap, has denied the allegations. The creator said, people asked if I exit scammed. I did not. I'm still here. I will continue to participate in the discussion. I will help with the technical part. I will help ensure we have a successful migration. And so people were saying between these two here, one person posted an article saying SushiSwap founder converts portion of developer fund to $6 million in so that they're converting the funds, and instead, so basically, Chef Nomi says, according to Chef Nomi, the tokens were converted to Ethereum so that he could stop caring about the price and focus on the technicality of the migration. Somebody says this is the worst excuse for dumping. That makes no sense at all. It really doesn't make any sense at all. What are you talking about? It's just really LMFAO. Anyone who actually invested in a fishy token named Sushi can't possibly complain when dumped. And somebody says he also converted so fast to not care about losing $3,000 in the ETH swap. And these comments are absolute gold. So he basically said that he's like Charlie Lee. The SushiSwap creator then compares his actions to what Satoshi Light or Charlie Lee did with Litecoin, and that how Litecoin had no problem surviving after Charlie Lee had sold his at the top. However, these were around for several days. SushiSwap was around for like a week, like a couple weeks or something like that. And basically the guy sold off $5 or $7 million worth of his coins to Ethereum. And some people were saying in these, I'm not sure exactly where the comment is now, but some people were saying that, like, how can you blame him? The guy basically copy and pasted the code from GitHub and changed the name and description, do a little bit of advertisement, sell all tokens after launch, and make $1 million. Easy life. Make millions of dollars. And, like, how can you complain? How can you blame this guy? Because, not defending sushi, but if you created something that you made a millionaire overnight, would you really want to risk everything on its continued success when things come and go in under a month? Or would you take a few million off the table to know you'll be rich no matter what, and now focus on keep it running to make more money? I'd certainly do the latter. Again, not defending sushi, but I totally support the logic of this guy selling off his tokens. And it gets better here. Maybe you don't think that I deserve that F. I think my contributions justified that. So you mean like basically copy and pasting GitHub and making something that's almost exactly like Uniswap, literally a fork of Uniswap, and that after maybe a couple weeks, I don't even know how long SushiSwap has been around. We can see how long the token has been around. It's only even been listed on CoinMarketCap here since August 28th. So that's 8 days that it's even been listed on CoinMarketCap. So maybe up a little bit before that too. So we're talking a couple weeks maybe. And you deserve $5-7 million? Not really. No, I don't think so. I coordinated the largest LP pools ever. I created a large community. I sprang up hundreds of LP scam projects, all in 1 week. The SushiSwap creator also makes an effort to remind his detractors all the work he has done alone. Oh, just so alone. So I deserve $7 million, right? The SushiSwap, the rest of his tweets, the founder cast his actions as benign while complaining that all I received was blaming and fudding. Yeah, he basically said that all he did was cause a 5% slippage. I can't remember where that tweet is here. Here we go. Again, I would like to stress, this is the Chef Nomi guy who created this SushiSwap, who's basically just a nerd avatar here. And don't get me wrong, nerdery is just fine. But if you don't know who this person is and you're investing everything in on it, I mean, is anybody surprised anymore? If you are surprised by this, like, you must be new. I mean, after BitConnect, after proof of weak hands, after all these Ponzi's, after all these ICOs, after all these exit scams and hacks on exchanges and stuff, you cannot be surprised anymore. He says, again, I would like to stress that we'll continue to drive the project forward. Me selling sushi merely affected the overall price, a 5% slippage. Oh, really? You will continue to see the driving all the efforts, the multi-sig, the migration, the development, everything. So he thinks it was just a 5% slippage, him selling off of his some 5 million of tokens. How many was it that he sold here? Something like 2.5 million tokens. How many SushiSwap tokens are there? There's only 60 million in the total circulating supply. and that isn't exactly always on an exchange at any given time. There could be a lot of those could be in wallets and stuff that isn't movable at the moment, right? So the guy sold 2.5 million out of only 60 million. So that's a huge proportion. He sold it on the third or the fourth, something like that, when it was $5. I'm not sure which one of these days, right? It could have been the third or the fourth, because all these articles are coming out today. So I would imagine on the fourth or something like that. But let's go with either one of these dates. So $5.02 or $4.73 according to CoinMarketCap on those 2 days. There's a snapshot. I'm sure it went up or down in between. So 5% slippage, and then what is it today? $1.87. I think that's a little bit more than 5%. I think that's a lot more than 5% slippage. Because what happened, it's a token named, so I like these replies too. This is just great. These replies are great. I hate to see anybody losing money like this, but this is just, basically DeFi is an unproductive nothing burger. It's a nothing burger. I hate to even use that word. It's nothing. There is no production. It's just fictitious magic gains. There's just magic gains back and forth. It's a token named after a food. It does nothing but bait betas into yield farming for fictitious gains. There's no real gains. It's just people's losses and your gain. That's it. At least with on an exchange, like if you go to Coinbase, Binance, anything like that, any exchange, right? And I sell my Bitcoin for, let's say back in the day, I sold my Bitcoin for $2,000. Right? That was a zero sum game, right? Because I got my $2,000. And you got your Bitcoin for $2,000, right? So you were good with your deal. You say, yes, I got my Bitcoin for $2,000, right? And I say, yes, I got my $2,000. I'm going to go spend my $2,000. And then you say, I'm going to hodl my Bitcoin. Bitcoin then becomes $10,000 and you sell your Bitcoin. But that doesn't mean that I lost, right? At the time, it was just a zero sum game. We were both even by the trade. Nobody really got the better of each other on that at the time. I got the $2,000. I got what I wanted. You got what you wanted. Whereas this DeFi farming, you don't know what you're going to get. Like you know that you're going to get some interest rate at first. And then as soon as that liquidity changes or tanks, it's either going to go up, or if there's too many people diving onto that, your APY is just toast. And if the prices of anything go down, all that wrapped Ethereum, it's about to get unwrapped pretty quick so that it can get sold. And there's going to be major liquidity problems, and there's going to be a lot of people left out from all of that. So it just says, just say, I like this guy says, just say, LOL, I played y'all, and now it has $5 million. Another person says, LMAO, 5% slippage, but 60% down because you destroyed the trust in sushi by essentially pulling the rug. This was supposed to be the community run and fair launch, but clearly that's not what ended up being. Everyone losing their mind over sushi, and not mentioning the endless market dump by miners. Obviously, the Bay has to guess who. Well, yeah, I guess. Like, miners selling is what they have to do, though. I don't think that has much to do with this. I bought your coin when it was $10. Now it's less than $3. I lost more than 80% of my fund. I no longer trust. I lost 90%. But I think you are more a believer to sushi, et cetera, et cetera. But everybody's losing. This is really bad. SushiSwap, so again, down from $8 in a matter of a few days to $1.87. I mean, Compound as well, and just another token, just a few days, it's down, like $100. Yearn, this was $33,000 for some magic reason, $34,000, now down to $23,000. So the whole market is really starting to fall apart, and you could argue that it's just sort of, recollecting itself and sort of repositioning itself in a more reasonable price when it comes to what these things are should be valued at. Even Ethereum was nearly at $500 and is now at 328. So this took one of the hugest beatings. And for a while, mining it was extremely profitable because the basically each transaction was $14 or $15 on average. So it could be $10 or it could be $20 for your transaction, depending on how fast you wanted to push it through. And so then miners were getting paid. They were getting a piece of all of those transactions every block, And so we were at nearly $483, now down to $330. So I think there was a bubble that burst with the DeFi market for sure, and it kind of needed it. It was going too crazy, and those gains can't last forever. And then you got people that are running SushiSwap. You can essentially just go to the GitHub and copy and paste this, and then change a few things and launch your own with your own token. Not that that's entirely easy, but it's not it's not very hard work either. I mean, I created an ERC20 token. I mean, it's really not that hard as long as you just go step by step and do it. It's just not that hard. Now, creating some super deep smart contract, that's a different story. And I'm sure SushiSwap has definitely some of its own code written into it, and I'm sure you have to be at least relatively good programmer to be doing this. However, it's simply too easy, and it's like the ICO market of 2017. But now it's even easier to do because you can go on Uniswap, and you can actually go on Uniswap, and then you can go to their token listing. It's down on the bottom of the page, and they basically ask you a questionnaire. They want to know about your ERC20 token. They want to know the digits and the abbreviation and yada yada, all that information. They want to know how much liquidity you're going to provide with it and yada yada. And that's basically it. They want your website. They want like where your main website is, or your logo, etc. And then they'll get back to you, and they're just going to list it, right? They're just going to list it, and people are going to come along and buy it. It's just too easy. Whereas an ICO, at least in 2017, you had to make the code for an ICO. So if you received, if your ICO, just to make this easy, 1 Ethereum per one of your tokens, right? So you basically write a code saying that, okay, if you receive from this address, and like, let's say I want to invest into your ICO. So I take some of my Ethereum, I send you 10 Ethereum. So I'm going to get 10 tokens in return when your ICO goes live. So basically it goes to the smart contract. It says this address, boop, this public key sent you 10 Ethereum. So now it basically saves that and says you now owe that address 10 of these tokens, and it's going to go into your ERC20 token, Ethereum wallet when it's over, when at the end of the timer that you set for it to go live. It's really that simple. Maybe that's a little oversimplified, but that's pretty much how an ICO worked in 2017. Is that you send them, it saves it to that address, etc., and then it later owes you those tokens automatically. And that took a lot of work. You had to make a website. You had to sort of promote it. You had to sell it essentially to everybody, and that was at least a lot of work to do, at the very least. And then this, you could just pick your own token and throw it on there, or you could just make your entire platform a sushi platform, and then make $5 million within days because a bunch of idiots just bought your sushi token. It's just this is why I'm not a big fan of DeFi. This is not looking good so far, and this is why I say that DeFi itself is not necessarily a nefarious scheme. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It's not a nefarious scheme in the way that a Ponzi scheme is always a Ponzi scheme. It's always a nefarious Ponzi scheme, right? Whereas this is just exploitable. And again, I like this guy saying fictitious gains. There are no gains. There are no gains. Nobody's buying anything. Nobody's. It's not a zero-sum game. It's just nobody's even getting loans for things that they want. It's just they're just trying to swap around and provide liquidity and take everybody's money and then get out as fast as possible. And you could argue that that's been crypto for a while, but I don't think so. I don't think that's what crypto is supposed to be. At least with an exchange, it's a zero sum. If I want to sell my Bitcoin now, I sell my Bitcoin, and you feel like you got it at a good price, and I feel like I sold it at a good price, or even if I don't feel like I sold it at a good price, I got my money, I got what I wanted out of it. So it's a zero-sum game. Both people got exactly what they wanted, whereas this is just not. It's just simply not. But this is all I have for you guys today. Who knows where we're going after this? Who knows what the fallout is going to be from this? Maybe it will just correct itself in a couple days and everything will be fine. But I still think there's going to be some catastrophic failure of the DeFi market. I know it's all smart contracts, but eventually something is going to go wrong when the prices really go down for one reason or another, or something's going to come along that seems so amazing and everybody's going to throw so much money into it and it's going to go under. And it's going to affect the market like BitConnect did. But that's all I have for you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe to the video. It helps me out a lot. My social media in the description below. Give me a follow on those if you get the opportunity to do so. I post random stuff on my Instagram and sometimes Twitter and whatnot. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. But as usual, I'll see you guys next time.